One of the biggest gripes that I and many others had with Solasta 2 when it launched into early access earlier this year was its character creator, and that's because of two big reasons. It was overly complicated and seemed to lack direct control. This made making a character representative of what you want them to look like very difficult. Using things like face morphing was a bit like playing RNG, the character creator, and the lack of body modifications meant your wizard and warrior looked exactly the same. One just happened to have a robe on instead of chainmail armor. But all of this is changing soon-ish. We got an update on the update about what they're doing with the character creator. Now, shortly after launch, they said that they were rectifying this issue with character creator. Unfortunately, it's taking longer than they had hoped, but now we actually have more concrete details on what's coming and pictures. Instead of the face morphing roulette, we'll be getting sliders for chin, cheeks, eyes, jaw, nose, and mouth. And this is awesome because the characters in Solasta 2 are already a major upgrade from the first Solasta, and it was a shame that we didn't have more control in what our characters looked like. So the sliders are a huge upgrade for the overwrought and over-confusing character creator we had previously. But it's not just getting more control over what already existed though, as they're also adding in body shape morphing using 3 different vertices. So you've basically got skinny and lanky, round and proud, and hitting the gym, but only for your arms. It's a big step in the right direction. Now, I personally wouldn't have gone with the morphing thing. We already tried the morphing thing, and the lack of accuracy with it is kind of one of those things that gets annoying. However, I do think that this will work a little bit better with a body shape rather than your face. The face being the thing that you look at all the freaking time, especially when there's a lot of cinematics in this game that really like to zoom in on your face. And there's just much less to do with the body. Morphing for clarity is, at least in my head, a kind of thing like changing all of the sliders at once, but doing it on a plane with tons of different options. You just really don't know exactly what those options are as you're messing with it. It is, however, much faster to do than messing with individual sliders, and given that you'll be creating at minimum 4 characters, unless you use presets, that's probably good to have some things be a little bit faster. Although I do gotta say that, it's an RPG and you're stuck with these characters throughout the game, so taking time in character creator kind of goes with being an RPG. It's just really the norm. Spend a shit ton of time in the character creator and then instantly die as soon as you start playing, or maybe that's just me. But these body shapes are still a move toward differentiating your party, letting your warrior bulk up, or your wizard slim down, or your cleric have a few more hardy ales. They've also added further cosmetic customization with voice pitching. Voice pitching is pretty straightforward. It takes the existing voices and either raises or lowers the pitch to make them sound just a little bit different.
Kind of like this, I can lower the pitch of my voice to make it dramatic and deep in sounding.
Or I could raise the pitch of my voice and make sure that everyone watching this video right now runs as fast as possible to the unsubscribe button.
The demo they showed doesn't sound dramatically different across the pitch option that they showed, and there will be 5 total pitch options, but it should at least provide you with more customization so your party doesn't all sound exactly the same. Which again is pretty cool in Solasta 2 because when you are engaged in conversations, your whole party is part of the conversation. It's not just your main character, because there really isn't a main character. There's 4 main characters in Solasta.
This is the place. I remember being here. This is the place. I remember being here. This is the place. I remember being here.
That's where we're currently at with Solasta 2. We don't have a date for when this will all be going live, but I do want to go ahead and point back to the roadmap and remind everyone of what to expect for the rest of the year. We've still got a ways to go before anything substantial apart from this character creator, but Q3 of 2026, Solasta 2's roadmap includes multiplayer, which I can't wait to try, a new class and new world event. It also includes more customization, which I really hope means new hairstyles and such to even further beef up the character creator. But that multiplayer, I think that's one of the things that I have longed for in Solasta 2. I have been a lot of fun playing co-op multiplayer in Wildheart, but I really want to get in and have that turn-based co-op fun the kind of way that you did in Baldur's Gate 3, and I just cannot wait to actually jump in and try and play with friends in this game. Q4 will add 2 new ancestries, the meat and potatoes of who your character are and how they act and speak. Another new class, the level cap will raise from 4 to 6, they'll be getting in the crafting system, and they'll move on to the start of Act 2. I'm eagerly anticipating those larger updates because when I played Solasta 2 earlier this year, I found that it had a lot to offer already, but also found that it needed some upgrade in some places, even though it was obviously a pretty big upgrade from Solasta 1 already. The character creator stood out as a big issue, so I'm glad that they're taking the reins on that as soon as possible, but the other thing that we need is just more content. But the last thing I want to point out is actually about another game that is being bundled with Solasta 2 right now. If you have or you have not purchased Solasta 2 yet, there is an awesome indie game inspired by none other than Disco Elysium called Esoteric Ebb that is being bundled with Solasta 2. Pretty different in many ways from Solasta 2, but if you already have Solasta 2, you can save 10% off of Esoteric Ebb right now. I played a very early version of Esoteric Ebb and really enjoyed its quirky charm. It fully released earlier this year in March and is currently sitting at an overwhelmingly positive review on Steam with just under 5,000 reviews so far. I absolutely recommend checking out Esoteric Ebb if you have the time to and the money to, because it's a really fun and interesting game that feels a little bit different. It's a CRPG, but in a different way. But if you want to see my thoughts on the game when I actually played the demo version of the game, you can see that in this video right here. My name is Edward Flynn, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have an absolutely wonderful day, and I will see you all soon.